Thank you for joining me for today's AI for Printers workshop. Today is about using the upsell plan, AI workflow prompt. And it's also about looking at AI from a perspective you maybe haven't considered before. And we all have a starting point with AI. Perhaps you've already had your starting point and you're already using AI productively. Perhaps you've tried AI but have been underwhelmed with the results of your experiments. Maybe today is your starting point. Wherever you're at on your AI journey, you'll find something you can use from today's. So today's workshop is going to be hands-on because we learn through doing, and we'll have a number of hands-on exercises. And later, for those attending live, I'll guide you through the use of today's featured AI prompt, the Upsell Plan AI Workflow prompt. So a few things to get ready. First one is get your favorite AI tool ready. That could be ChatGPT, Claude by Anthropic, Google Gemini, MS Copilot. Any of them will work. And we'll go hands-on because there's just an enormous difference between just passively consuming the information and proactively participating in the workshop. Now, if you don't have a favorite AI tool yet, just go to chatgpt.com and create an account. It'll take you 30 seconds. And the free version will work for everything we'll be doing today. Step 2, give me a feel for how you and your team are using AI today. You can answer A, B, C, or D. A means you use AI, but your team does not. B, a few people on your team are using AI casually. C, your team has a structured approach for using AI. D, you don't have a team, you work solo. So just give me a feel for how you and your team are using AI. Find the one that matches up closest with you. I do need you to prove that you're here because the price of admission is nothing more than your time. So I need to know that you're ready to proceed. So wait just a few moments and go ahead and drop the one that matches best for you, you and your team with AI. Okay, good. I see a number of responses coming in. And if you've not yet responded, go ahead and drop your letter in, A, B, C, or D. And we will then keep on moving here. I see a question coming up here too. So I'll ask you to keep the questions, maybe just jot a note down on that. And if you have questions, we will have some time at the end and go over any questions that you have as we go. All right, as we get started, let's talk about why you are here today. Most likely you heard me talk about the simple version of the upsell plan prompt, either at aiforprinters.com, or maybe you caught wind of this workshop through my posts on LinkedIn. Some of you requested the upgraded version of that prompt at aiforprinters.com, so you could even get better results, and we'll walk through that too. But for today's big win, I'm going to show you the AI workflow version of the prompt. And that's the one everyone actually wants because that's the one that helps you get real, meaningful work done with AI. It's the version of the prompt that produces the high-value results. And you'll get today's upsell plan AI workflow prompt in just a few moments. But let's build up to it. Let's start by looking at the simple prompt. And it's on the screen here now. And honestly, this prompt is too basic, and I kind of hope you don't use it. But I'll still show it to you so you can use that as a starting point to better see where we're going. So here's what that looks like. Let me bring that up on the screen because I have pre-run these so we could just go through them at a high level. And there it is. The prompt is simple. Ask me for the type of print job I'm quoting, and then give me a quick list of upsell ideas I could suggest to the customer before the quote goes out. Pretty simple prompt. And AI does exactly that. It asks us, what type of print job are you quoting right now? And AI says that once it tells me that job, it'll give us a tight, practical list of smart upsells. And so we'll just give AI some information. I'm quoting a run of 1,000 trifold brochures. AI does its work, says here's a 1,000-piece trifold brochure is a strong base job and one of the easiest places to add useful upsells without feeling pushy. Here's our short, high-confidence upsell list. And you can see there it is. AI is giving us that information. And even though it's a simple prompt, we're still getting good information. There's no question about that. This is good information, but we've got kind of a wide target we're aiming for here. It's still good ideas. Heavier paper stock, aqueous coating or soft touch coating. You need to find out a little bit more about soft touch coating. AI seems to like soft touch coating, so we need to get that information on what is that. Anyway, on and on. You can see we have high probability, smart add-ons, only if it fits the use cases. Even it goes further and says what not to push in this case. That's how it ran for me here. So that's the simple prompt, high-level view of it. But that is our starting point. It gives a little too much freedom for AI to explore paths that may not be relevant. So I hope you never use it, but I share it so that we have that starting point. If we go beyond that simple prompt, give it a little upgrade, and let's take a look at that one in AI. So the prompt upgrade, it's on the screen. I'll also show it to you in AI. And again, stay high level. Let me show you what that one looks like. Pull it up here. If we give a little bit more substance to that simple prompt, and we drop that into our AI, and now we're giving AI a role to perform. We're telling AI, you are an upsell strategist for commercial print shops. Who's ever heard of an upsell strategist? Pretty narrow specialty, but it's a good one. That's what AI is doing. It is being that AI, that upsell strategist for us. And we're telling AI to ask me for information one question at a time. What type of print job I'm quoting? What services and finishing options does my shop offer? What type of customer is this for? Any budget sensitivities or constraints? After AI collects that information from us, it will then provide upsell suggestions, ready-to-use language, and follow-up upsell ideas. Okay, so let's just take a high-level look at what that means here. So we give AI those instructions. It comes back and said, yep, here's that first question I need to ask you. What type of print job are you quoting? There's our 1,000 trifold brochures. Okay, AI says, got it. Knows a little bit more. We're narrowing in, not as many guardrails, a little tighter guardrails, a little more focus. What services and finishing options does your shop offer? Aqueous coating, UV coating, and so forth. You would put in your answers, of course. What type of customer is this for? Small business. They've been a customer for about 2 years, mostly business cards and door hangers. Question 4, any budget sensitivities or constraints? And we can add with our own answers here, in this case, staying high level. They're not super price sensitive, but they do like to see value. They've never asked for upgrades before. Okay, now we've given AI a little more of a framework to say, if you are truly going to be an upsell specialist for me, here's what you need to draw out of me. We give the information, we give that context, and AI now is giving us some better, more focused suggestions. Aqueous coating, why it fits. How do we position that? We can position that as protection and a professional look. Heavier or laminated stock, why does that fit? Landscaping is visual. Okay, so now we're dialing it into that specific customer, and on and on. We're getting a good list. We're getting ready to use language. So now it's helping us with our presentation, because these brochures will likely be handled and shared. Many landscaping companies choose a light aqueous coating. It protects the piece and gives photos a cleaner, more professional finish. And on and on. You can see all the different suggestions it's having here. Okay, I'm getting into the weeds. I want to stay at a high level. I've gone beyond that. So let's pull back from that. Let's get closer to this. A few of the things that are worth noting is more context with AI is going to give you better results. Now we can have higher expectations for the results that AI produces. Here's the AI workflow prompt. This is the one that you came here for. This is the Upsell Plan AI workflow prompt, and it's the one I'll be giving you today. It's the one that turns AI from interesting into useful. This is going to be you and AI working together over multiple steps in a process. You will see that AI does the hard work. You check in to keep your AI conversation pointing in the right direction. So I'll walk you through that now so that you can see that improvement as we've progressed from a simple prompt to an upgraded version of that simple prompt, and then now to the AI workflow prompt. And then right after that, we'll go hands-on together when I share this upsell plan AI workflow prompt with you. All right, so let me bring that one up, and I promise I'll stay high level on this one this time so that we can get right to it together when I give the prompt to you. Let me go back up to the top here, and we just drop this in. If you can copy and paste, you can do this. It's copy and paste, and that gives AI the instructions. And I will stay high level, but there's a few things I want to point out. When we run an AI workflow prompt like this, the first thing you'll see is we get that introduction. AI says, I'm your upsell strategist for a sales and marketing role in a commercial print shop, focused on helping you increase order value without making customers feel sold to. Then it goes on. It proposes, says, here's the workflow we'll work through step by step. Oops, get my mouse back here. Step by step, we'll define upsell objectives, identify high-value upsell opportunities, create targeted upsell offers, train the sales team, add upsell touchpoints, track and optimize performance, and then we'll have a final review and implementation. Then we'll get a playbook and some optional next steps. I want to walk you through those high level. But here's an important line as well. Before we start step one, would you like a quick summary of the concepts behind the upsell ideas first, or should we just jump right in? If you're comfortable with the topic, by all means, just jump right in. But if this was a new topic for you, whatever the topic is for the workflow we're using, we could say, give me that summary. And there's a little educational moment where AI is kind of unpacking itself and saying, here's the work we're going to do. Upselling is about reducing regret, not increasing spend. And you can see the details around that. The best upsells are operationally easy. Timing matters more than creativity, along with all the details. We're getting a little mini education as we go here. And so we get that summary, and AI then says, if that works for you, we'll move into step one. Remember those steps that we looked at earlier? Now we're ready to move into step one, define upsell objective. AI says, are we ready to do that, or do we want to tailor these concepts even more specifically to your shop before we continue? Staying high level, step one, and here we go. Step one, AI says, let's do it. Define upsell objectives. AI says, what are we here to do? We'll start by getting very clear on why you're upselling. This keeps the plan focused and prevents it from turning into random add-ons that confuse customers or strain your team. More context. What are we doing? To define the right objectives, AI says, I need to understand what matters most right now. Answer what you can. We don't even need to answer everything. Just answer what we can. What matters most in the next 6 to 12 months? AI gives us some suggestions, increasing average order value, improving customer retention, and so on. Are there any operational constraints we should respect? Is this upsell plan meant to be subtle and relationship driven, more structured, or a mix of both? And so AI is waiting for us to respond to that first step. And so I've pre-run this. I've added a few of those. I didn't answer everything. AI gave us permission that we don't have to answer everything. You'll see AI is amazing at filling in the blanks if we give it just a little bit of information. It does great filling in the rest. So I'm responding. I want to see increasing average order value, protecting margins on existing work, helping customers get better results from what they print. You can open up my answer a bit more. You can quick scan it. This is my response to the second question in step one. And now AI is taking that and saying, okay, here's what you told me. Let me put it back to you. It's confirming. Based on your input, this upsell plan needs to work in short transactional conversations, protect profitability, and still feel helpful, and on and on. And so it's summarizing everything that we just went over. Now it's back to us. We look at AI's summary. If we were doing it for real, we'd take a few thoughtful moments and say, yeah, that looks good, or tell it to adjust. And as long as we can answer AI, we'll keep on going. And in this case, staying high level, we say, yep, that looks good. We are aligned. Let's move on to step two. Identify high value upsell opportunities. Same thing happens again. When we've checked step one off the list, now we can go to step two. AI explains what we're doing, tells you what the context is for this step, and invites us to answer. And there's my answer. And AI parrots back to us and says, here's the work that I did. AI is doing the heavy lifting here. And our job is to come alongside and say, yep, that looks good. You did a good job with that AI. Or if it didn't, nudge it in the right direction. But we'll just keep on going. Step 2, we did good work on that. Me and AI, we did it. We can move on to step 3, which is creating targeted upsell offers. Okay, what are we doing? Here's the introduction. And what is the purpose of this step? And just even look at this. It's starting to build. You're starting to see it. We're looking at the language now. We're drafting the upsell offers. Quantity optimization. Most customers doing this go with X number instead of Y, so they don't run short. We're starting to see AI make those suggestions for us. And it's also giving us the approach here and some guardrails too. So if we would do this for real, we would put on our magnifying glass and say, yep, AI's got it, or not, and nudge it in the right direction. Either way, we keep on going until we're ready to move to step 4, which is training the sales team on upselling techniques. Okay, introduction. Remove reliance on sales instinct. Replace it with a repeatable, low-pressure system that works, even when conversations are rushed. What if you could put that into your sales team's hands and say, just make sure on every conversation, if it allows, follow this plan for an upsell nudge. Okay, that's what's happening here. It's giving us some approved upsell scripts. We score the folds on these so they stay clean and don't crack. Or most customers bump the quantity slightly so they don't run out. Well, I don't know. Maybe I might change the language on that. We can do that. We can tell AI, yeah, that one didn't sound exactly like I'd say it, but it's doing all of the work for us, so we don't have to think about it unless we're fine-tuning it. Okay, so if we're good there, we move on to step 6, incorporating upsell touchpoints into the sales process. Step 5, the specific moments. We'll do our work on step 5. We'll agree with AI or nudge it in the right direction. We move on to step 6, tracking and optimizing upsell performance. Same thing. It presents the work that we're doing. We watch it work. We confirm it or improve it. And then we get close to step 7, our final review and implementation, our final upsell plan. And here's the review. What is it optimized for? What are we avoiding? How do we implement? What's the reality check? And then if this looks like what we are expecting to see, now we have the completed upsell plan. And now that is the work of the AI workflow. This is an interesting moment here. This is actually an upgrade that came as the result of working with some of the printers here. Instead of just saying, we're done, now AI is going to put this into a playbook for us. And it's going to give us that strategy, that path to rolling this out so we can actually make this useful. Not only that, AI says we don't have to end here. It provides us with some optional next steps. One might be predictable. One might be a bolder next step. One might be kind of a test, an experiment, something that maybe no one else is doing. This doesn't have to be the end of the workflow. It's kind of the official end, but AI will keep on going as long as it can be useful. That is the high-level view of the AI workflow. All right, hopefully that was high level. Hope I didn't get into the weeds too much. You're going to get into the weeds on your own when you get that workflow prompt in just a minute. So let's get ready to do that. And now that you've seen the different level of prompts, I want to do another check-in and just tell me how you are using AI today. Think about the improvements you've seen from a simple prompt to an upgraded prompt. That improvement is a small jump. Then the improvement from an AI workflow prompt is up to an upgraded prompt to an AI workflow prompt. That's the huge leap. So does the way that you use AI today match up with simple prompts, upgraded prompts, or AI workflow prompts? And kind of think of it in that famous line, the one small step, one big leap line. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The distance between A and B, that's a small step. The distance between B and C, that's a giant leap. So go ahead and take a moment, drop that into the chat there. Tell me how you are using AI. Are you using it like a simple prompt, upgraded prompts, or AI workflow prompts like we just demonstrated here? All right, I'm seeing some feedback come in. A little mix of everything. Okay, good. So keep that feedback coming in. Just go ahead and drop that in there. And today's upsell plan AI workflow prompt is from one of the toolkits that we've created for sales and marketing and commercial printing. And what you need to know right now is that this AI workflow prompt can stand on its own, which is what you will now see as we go hands-on. So here it is. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure you don't feel like you have to capture or remember all of this. This is what an AI workflow prompt actually looks like. You don't have to read it. You don't need to understand how it works. All you need to do is copy and paste. So let me go ahead and put that into the chat so that you can copy it out and use it. Okay, that is in the chat now. So for those attending live, you can copy it out of the meeting chat. For those of you watching the recording, if you want the exact workflow you're looking at here, I'll let you know how you can access that as well. Now, I want to be very clear about this hands-on part of the workshop, about our goals here. The goal is not to finish it. The goal is to get a feel of what it's like to work with an AI workflow prompt. So we're going to go ahead and do that together, and then you all can run that, and then we'll stop after about 90 seconds. I'll turn my camera off for that time, and then I'll come back on to bring us back together. If questions come up, just make a note. We'll make sure to cover those at the end. Okay, I'll turn off my camera now, and you can go ahead and take that workflow prompt, put it into your AI, and do exactly like I just showed you. Just let AI guide you, and we'll be back together in about 90 seconds. Okay, you got it about another 60 seconds to do to work through the AI workflow prompt. About 30 more seconds and we'll be back together. All right, and let's pause here. Even if you're in the middle of something useful, just remember you don't need to finish that right now. What I want you to notice is not the answers, it's more about what just happened and what did you experience? Did AI start asking you questions you didn't expect? Did it feel more like a conversation than typing a command? Was it easier than you thought it would be? So now make sure that you shift your focus back to my screen, because if you keep going with your AI workflow right now, you'll actually miss the part that makes this even more valuable. And we'll come back to the questions again at the end of the workshop. So a quick note for anyone who's watching the recording, live attendees just saw the workflow start working. If you are watching the recording and you want to run it yourself later, you'll be able to get the exact workflow we use today in the live workshop. And I'll explain how to do that before we wrap up. Also, what you're seeing today is one workflow from a much larger system we're actively refining for printers. And to me, what matters most is that it's shaped by real printers like you that are actually using this stuff. All right, so let's Sorry, I accidentally muted myself there. Now we can keep moving. And let's look at this simple question. It's an important question. How can AI help me become more profitable? And to unpack that, we're going to look at the AI profitability formula. It's a simple formula. It's productivity multiplied by performance, multiplied by your engagement. That's how we get to profit with AI. So let's start with the productivity element of this formula. Let's make it personal to you. So go ahead and get your AI ready, because in a moment I'll give you the AI instructions that you can use to build your own productivity toolkit right here in the workshop. And here on the screen now, this is the start of a pre-built productivity toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing. It includes all of the areas of responsibility for this role, and we're going to just line those up across the top here. And you'll see that come in with your job and your role responsibilities. And then going down in each column, you'll see the toolkit fill with the daily work within each area of those responsibilities. Now, this can look like a lot on the screen, and honestly, that's by design. Just know that this isn't something you're meant to tackle all at once here. What matters right now is simply this. The toolkit is a collection of practical AI workflows, and we guide people to start with just a few of the high-value ones first, the ones that create fast, visible wins. Now, it's your turn to create your own productivity toolkit for your role. And I'm going to paste this AI prompt into the meeting chat, and you can use it to create your personal productivity toolkit. And I'll run this along with you so that you can see the AI in real time. You can do it with me now, or you can grab it from the meeting chat and run it on your own later. If you do it now, or for that matter, later too, copy it, but don't run it until I guide you on one quick step that we need to do to do it right. So go ahead and start a new AI chat. And I'm going to load up my prompts to share with you here. Okay, so I am going to start my new AI chat, and in the chat, in the meeting chat, I'll give you the instructions. Again, copy that out, paste it into your AI, but don't run it until we make a customization. And I'm going to do it on my screen or show you where it is. And it's really just those first 3 lines that we're talking about. First 3 lines have a place for you to change if this is not you, if your role is not an owner, if your company size is not 10 people, if your industry is not commercial printing. If it's anything other than that, just change that. Change whatever needs to be changed to make those top 3 lines relevant to you. Okay, that's it. Once you've made those changes, then just send that into AI and let it run here. Okay, so you can see this is starting to form our productivity toolkit, and the toolkit includes the roles and responsibilities. We're seeing those line up across the top, and then the individual tasks that you would typically do on each day. Mine's my screen's a little bit smaller, so I have to scroll left and right on this, but we can see those dropping in there. And what you're going to find is that this toolkit, our experience shows us that this is going to be 80 or 90% accurate right out of the box without you having to do anything else. Now, if you see something in there that says, yeah, that wasn't right, or that one really needs to change, just have that conversation with AI. Say like, my part of this is I do not take care of systems and automation. Find a different role for me, or a different description there for me. Just have that conversation with AI, and you can fine tune that if you want. For today, it's fine to be roughly right. And as I said, about 80 to 90% of the when people run this, about 80 to 90% of it is accurate right as it is. So you probably don't have to change much. Okay, so it can look like a lot, but don't let that intimidate you. If it looks overwhelming right now, don't worry. Just look beyond that overwhelming part for a moment. You don't have to understand all of this. You just have to know that this is a powerful starting point for AI to help you. Okay, so your productivity toolkit should come out on the screen, and that's all we're looking for is that grid. Let's go back to our slides here. So One thing to note is what you created on your screen really isn't a toolkit yet. On my screen, I do have a productivity toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing. On yours, you have a toolbox with a bunch of labels on it that still needs to get filled with the tools. Well, how do you fill it with the tools? Well, what's on my screen is completed. It's ready to go for sales and marketing and commercial printing. All the tools are in place, one for each box. And what I gave you today is that upsell plan workflow. That's one of the tools in the toolkit. It's a workflow that came right out of this productivity toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing. So how do you get to a completed toolkit like this? Well, there's two ways. First, you can buy this pre-built, ready-to-use toolkit with all of the workflows from us, from AI for Printers. The second way is you can learn how to build the tools for your own toolkit, and it's actually quite easy to do. All right, so let's take a look at that productivity toolkit and look at it from a different angle. And you might see one or more of those items in the toolkit, and you'll think that, well, great, AI can create an upsell plan, but it can't do, and then there's a blank to fill in. And you'll be tempted to fill in that blank with something from your toolkit. I want to tell you that if it's on your screen right now in your toolkit, not only can AI help you do it, but in your current role, you plus AI can do the job at least 10 times faster with no compromise in quality and usually an increase in quality. Let's break that one down a bit. First thing is it's you plus AI. We've already seen that in the AI workflow prompts that we use. We're not letting AI run on its own. AI is going to take over the world someday, but that's scheduled for later. That's not right now. It's still us working with AI. 10 times faster. Should be no question that that's at least 10 times faster. Just in the little bit of work that we've done this morning, you should see that that is at least 10 times faster than what you would do on your own. Then the next one, no compromise in quality. And that's the one where people can look at that and say, really, no compromise in quality. Can that really be true? Well, the reason it's true is because you're still the checkpoint as you move through the work. You are playing the role of quality control. So if there is a compromise in quality, that finger needs to point right back at us. It's not AI. We are providing the quality control. And then that last part, usually an increase in quality. That's going to become increasingly true over time. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I couldn't have said that with a straight face, but AI is progressing so fast and it's becoming more true every single day. That also has some implications for your future role too. In your future role, you can also significantly accelerate and many times skip the lengthy learning process. We saw some hints of that today. Remember how AI offered a summary before we started, and then it offered a playbook at the end. That's part of the learning. The best way to learn something is to actually do it. And so what's the best way to learn how to do something with AI? Is to do it with AI. That's why the learning is baked into each AI workflow prompt when it gives you the overview of what's coming and the playbook at the end. That's what we're doing here. An AI workflow helps you learn by doing, breaks the work down into smaller steps. We're providing the quality control. We're looking at what good looks like at every step. And if you need to learn how to do a task in the toolkit, the AI workflow will help you learn by doing. Okay, so most people will find at least 5 to 10 AI workflows, probably even more, in that productivity toolkit that really move the needle in saving a bunch of time. Not unusual to find that people will shave off 20% of their daily work time. And here's how you can think about that. If you do your work Monday through Friday, now you can use that extra time, reduce that time by 20% and do it Monday through Thursday. Friday can be your strategy day when you work on improving your company's performance. That's what takes us back to the AI profitability formula, because with AI, a great way to become more strategic and increase your company's performance is to run what we call performance experiments. A performance experiment is simply testing a strategic improvement to see how much it increases the performance in a specific area of your business. In this part of the game of business, whoever runs the most performance experiments wins. Let's bring that a little bit closer to our world. If you're the printer running the most performance experiments, AI will help you be the printer that wins. All right, so let's get your AI again, and I'm going to give you instructions. Now you can build your own performance experiments toolkit. And when you build your personalized performance experiment toolkit, you'll see the key performance indicators come in across the top. And in plain English, these are the things that you're responsible for doing better over time in your role. And then in the columns, you'll see a combination of experts in the field and known strategies from those experts to help you get the results you desire. This is another toolkit filled with AI workflows. And let's get that prompt in your hands. Drop that into the meeting chat. And go ahead and run that one with me as well. And to do that, copy it out of the meeting chat. Go back to the chat that you started that contains your productivity toolkit. Just paste it in. And this time, AI already knows about you. We don't have to customize anything. We can just run that. So take a few moments. Let your performance experiments toolkit drop in on your screen. Again, it's just copying it from the meeting chat, pasting it into your AI, and letting AI build that for you. Same thing as before. It's going to be very accurate, maybe not 100% accurate. So if you see something that needs to change a little bit, just give it a nudge, move it in the right direction, and you'll see that performance experiment toolkit come on the screen for you. I'm going to let mine keep building. You can do the same, but I am going to go back to the slides here. Same thing as before. This can look like an overwhelming wall of text. Just recognize the huge amount of value that shows up very quickly once we just run that, create that toolkit. Okay, so this is our toolkit filled with AI workflows. This toolkit brings in the knowledge of world-class experts. This toolkit represents tens of thousands of dollars of world-class consultant level work completed at the speed of AI. We're getting world-class results, and we're compressing clock time and calendar time. And we could run any of these workflows from our pre-built sales and marketing and commercial printing performance experiment toolkit. We could run any of those workflows just like we did earlier with the Upsell Plan workflow. And just like before, it would be a simple copy and paste exercise to start the process where we add context as AI interviews us at each step of the workflow. Now take a look at your performance experiment toolkit, and what you see on your screen is a bunch of experiments. Everything in the performance experiment toolkit on your screen can be turned into a bunch of experiments to help you increase the performance and effectiveness of your business. AI can help you run those experiments very quickly and efficiently. AI will pull information out of you. It'll help bring things to the surface that you might not have even thought about, and it'll get you working with the knowledge of a world-class expert to help you with the performance experiment. So every business goal can be improved by running experiments. And out of 10 ideas, most will move the needle in the right direction. One might even backfire, and that's just the nature of experimenting. But somewhere in the mix, you'll find the breakthrough ideas. And the only way to find the breakthroughs is to run the experiments. And now here's the key, because speed is what changes the game. AI doesn't just give you more ideas, it helps you test those ideas 10 times faster. So just imagine this. Imagine that you and I are equally skilled, but you work by running experiments the old way, while I use AI to run experiment after experiment. And by the end of the quarter, I'll have run 20 experiments in the time it took you to run 2. And guess who runs the experiment race? Guess who wins it? That would be me, running many more in that time. And that's why we say whoever runs the most performance experiments wins. This is a major aha moment for people in this AI-saturated world. You get access to world-class expertise from proven experts to help you run those experiments, and that's available on demand at your fingertips. Here's even the bigger picture. In your future role, Imagine becoming the person who, no matter how the world shifts, can always produce results 10 times faster than anyone else still adapting. That's what staying ahead looks like. So now you've seen 2 toolkits filled with AI workflows. You've seen the productivity toolkit to help you with your daily work, and you've seen the performance experiment toolkit to help you improve the performance of your business. Now the question is, how do you put tools into the toolkit? That's the engagement part of the AI profitability formula. And you have 3 options. You don't have to put the tools in the toolkit. That's option 1. That's do nothing. I think we can all agree that doing nothing is the most natural response when a topic feels new or uncertain. And when I listen to printers talk about AI, this is what I hear. They're afraid that if they wait too long, a competitor is going to use AI to move faster, sell more, communicate better, and suddenly they feel they're getting left behind because they waited for things to settle into place. And the other fear is this: we don't know where to start, so we'll start later. And I get that. I completely get that. But time is the one thing we just can't get back. So doing nothing may feel safe in the short term, but it's the only option that guarantees no improvement and no competitive advantage. Option 2, do it yourself. You can do this yourself. You really can, but it will take time to filter through all of the AI buzz and hype to find the good stuff. And doing it yourself is absolutely possible, but it comes with a very real cost. The time required to sort through all of the AI buzz and hype to find the good stuff, the trial and error, the inconsistency, all of that weight falling on one person. And let's face it, the printers I talk with are already stretched thin, and adding AI workflow engineer on top of everything else, it's just not realistic. Now, consider that if you've seen some things here today that you've not seen before, that might suggest to you that we understand some things about AI that others do not, and that you might want to consider continuing your AI journey with marketing ideas for printers, because we are laser focused on helping printers with their AI journey. So instead of trial and error, you get traction. Instead of overwhelm, you get clarity. Instead of falling behind, you move ahead. That's why I do these workshops, to help you get started the right way, beginning with just one practical workflow like the Upsell Plan workflow you used earlier. Now, no matter which path feels like the right next step for you, the most important thing is simply not to leave empty-handed. Take that Upsell Plan workflow, use it. You may find that might be your first real step forward with AI in your business. Now, everything you've seen today lives inside 2 AI workflow toolkits. They're built specifically for sales and marketing and commercial printing, because that's where printers feel the pressure first, and that's where AI can help the fastest. One toolkit is about productivity, doing the work you already do more consistently. The other is about performance experiments, making small, focused improvements without guessing or overhauling everything at once. Together, they give you a practical way forward. No more theory, no more tools to figure out, just workflows you can actually run. So let me show you what it looks like if you continue with us, and then you can decide if that makes sense for your business. Continuing means access to both AI workflow toolkits, the productivity toolkit and the performance experiment toolkit, built specifically for sales and marketing in commercial printing. And what I'm offering today is early access to the AI workflow toolkits. The workflows are already proven and in use, but this isn't a full public launch yet. Early access reflects how we're rolling this out intentionally before making it broadly available. So I want to show you what this actually looks like. This gives you ongoing access to the workflows you've seen today, plus new ones as they're added. Those workflows can be shared across your entire team, so the value isn't limited to just one person. Pricing will increase later this year when we move from early access to full release, and there's no long-term contract and you can cancel at any time. The way we make this available is through a membership to the AI workflow toolkits. It's $199 a month or $19.99 for the year if you'd rather take care of it annually. Now, this isn't software in the traditional sense. You're not paying for features or seats. You're paying for access to proven workflows and ongoing guidance on how to use them. That's where the monthly AI office hours comes in. Each month, we look at what's working, where subscribers have questions, and how these workflows are being applied in real printing businesses like yours. You get access to me, you get examples from other printers. You don't have to figure this out alone. And if even one workflow saves you or someone on your team an hour a week, this more than pays for itself. And the monthly AI office hours meeting, that's where the wins really compound. Now, most printers will know in the first month or two whether this is actually helping them. That's why it's monthly and you can cancel at any time. Some printers continue, some don't. Either way, the workshop you attended today, that stands on its own. Now, if this membership does feel useful, here's how you continue. One way that I decide on things like this is I run the decision through these three simple questions. First, will this get me closer to my goals? If your goal is to run a more streamlined AI-powered sales and marketing operation without adding more chaos to your business, then yes, this moves you in that direction. Second, does this increase my chances of success versus doing it alone? Instead of piecing things together from scratch, you're starting with workflows that are already proven for printers, plus guidance on how to apply them in your situation. And third, can I realistically make the investment work? For most printers, that comes down to one or two additional jobs, better follow-up, or simply saving time and avoiding frustration. So if you can answer yes to those three questions, then continuing makes sense. And if not, that's okay too. You should still take the workflow you've seen today and put it to work. So to wrap things up, I'd like to share why I'm doing this. For me, this is personal. I started exploring AI partly out of curiosity, but mostly because I wanted to make sure my company, Marketing Ideas for Printers, was prepared for a world about to be saturated in AI. But it became so much more than that. This is personal. I spent my career helping printers succeed, and I've never seen a shift like this one. AI isn't a trend, it's a transformation, and you can approach this transformation not with fear, but with confidence. I want you to have tools, confidence, and support not only to keep up with AI, but to lead with AI. That's why we built AI for Printers, specifically for printers like you, because it fits perfectly with our promise of helping you sell more printing. All right, I'll be ending the recording here in just a moment, but live attendees can stick around, and I'll also drop that link into the chat. It's on the screen, mi4p.com/start-AI, also in the chat. That brings us to the end of the workshop itself. Everything you need to understand how AI workflows work and how to start using them, that's complete. If you're watching the recording, you're in a good place to take what you've seen today and apply it on your own time. For those of you who are attending live, I'm going to stop the recording and stay with you a bit to answer questions or help you think through how this might apply in your business.